This is the Tech Phantom, and welcome to episode 19 of this Dark Souls walkthrough. In this walkthrough, we follow the travels of Conan in the land of Lordran. Conan has explored almost every corner of this land. There are only a few things that he feels he must do in preparation for his ultimate encounter and to finally get revenge on Tulsa Doom Lordran. The Wizard of the Mountains has guided Conan in this land. In exchange, he had asked Conan to secure some trinkets for him. These were magical in nature and very powerful. But the wizard was not strong enough to get them, for they were protected and they were hidden. Conan was glad to do a service for his friend, since the wizard's teachings had saved him many a death in this land. Conan traveled once more into the catacombs. The first time he had been here, he had killed the pinwheel master that created the ever-spawning skeletons. At that time, the way forward had been barred. He had finally obtained the Lord Vessel, and that had allowed him to proceed forward. He had started to travel into the catacombs, but had forgotten to write the notes in his journal. Conan immediately decided to kill himself, return to the bonfire, so that he can start recording the travels in his journal. He reached the spot where he had suicided before, and recovered his souls, and made quick work of the giant skeletons that barred the way.
Good day. You look reasonably sane. What are you doing in the catacombs? Are you a cleric or something? No? Really? Then I'd have no qualms telling you. There's a fine stash of treasure right down that hole. I found it first, but, well, we're friends now, so I'll split it with you. In any case, have a look. It'll shimmer you blind.
At the bottom of the catacombs, he found a curious character called Patches. Patches tempted Conan with promise of treasure, and Conan's pirate instincts led him awry. And Patches kicked him down into a hole. Apparently, Patches would kill travelers by pushing them down into a hole, and either let them die from the fall, or starve them to death. And then he would steal treasures and their goods from their bodies. Conan survived the fall, and he found Rhea of Thurland.
Thank goodness. Please be careful. There are two fierce hollows not far from here. They were once brave knights, my former escorts. Who would let such strong spirits be hollowed so? Heavens, is there nothing at all to be done?
Rhea had ventured here along with her bodyguards, Vince and Nico, who apparently had turned hollow. Maybe Patches had something to do with that. At any rate, Conan wanted to do a service for the girl and decided to put an end to the hollows and allow Rhea to escape back to the surface.
You banished those two hollows, did you? It pains me to think of the trouble my failings have caused. I am certain that both Vince and Nico are grateful to you. Thank you so very much. Here, these belonged to them. You deserve them more than I.
Rhea was a kind girl, but she was a little bit naive. She was brave though, thought Conan. The poor girl has ventured into the catacombs and the tomb of the giants. That takes strength. But she really didn't understand what had happened to Vince and Nico. It would be good to clear the path forward so that Rhea could find her way out and back up to the surface. Conan spied a bonfire as he climbed out of the pit and decided this would be a good base and resting location. He lit the bonfire and kindled it. Its light augmented the light of the sunlight maggot that Conan was wearing on his head to light the way in the pitch black catacombs and Tomb of the Giants. Apparently Solaire had been fooled by the sunlight maggots. They had turned him into... The parasites had burrowed deep into his brain and had turned him hollow. Conan would put the sunlight maggots to better use. Conan climbed out of the bonfire and found Patches.
Well, let's just calm down. Talk about things. I did you wrong, but I didn't mean it. These temptations, they can, well, overcome me. You know what I mean, don't you? Please, forgive me. You and me, we're jolly undead outcasts, aren't we? Oh, for heaven's sake, let's not mope about, eh? You're still alive. I said I'm sorry. Wait, I know. Here, take this. It proves something, doesn't it?
Patches was a weakling, and just like Conan had thought, Patches offered a bribe to prevent Conan from killing him. Conan decided to not kill Patches, but he did give him a warning. If Conan ever ran across Patches again, and Patches disrespected or crossed Conan, it would be a short discussion, and Patches would taste Conan's steel. Conan decided to proceed further into the Tomb of the Giants. He found trinkets and treasure. And further down he went. He finally escaped from the caves and into an area with light, and was glad to take off the damnable sunlight maggot from his head. As he approached the mouth of another cave, he was invaded by Paladin Leroy. This was a cleric with the giant hammer and dressed splendidly in golden armor. Leroy made the mistake of attacking Conan and was cut down swiftly by the claymore. The catacombs and the tomb of the giants were reeling with clerics. Patches had asked Conan if he was a cleric. Conan surmised that clerics came to this area on some kind of penitence or some kind of religious mission, hoping to find something to cleanse their sins or to engrace themselves to their god. Conan was glad that he prayed to Crom and he did not have to do such things. Crom did not want penitent followers and did not care if they offered things to him. Crom cared only about valor, which he would use as the final judgment for warriors after their death. Conan found a fog gate and proceeded through it. The wizard had told him that he would fight the Lord of the Undead, Lord Nito. The wizard had warned Conan that Lord Nito used pestilence and disease as one of his weapons. He had spawned many pinwheel servants to guard his location, and he wore the bones of the skeletons as an armor around him. He also spawned them at will to protect them. Lord Nito's sword was covered with a disease-like magical enchant that could poison you with a strong toxin. It was a fierce battle. Conan decided to ignore the skeletons since they would respawn over and over again, and instead focused all his attention on Lord Nito. It was over soon, and Conan had obtained the final soul that would clear the way forward to his final confrontation with Tulsa Doom, with Lord Wynn, as he was known in this land. He was close to achieving his final revenge. He would not waste it. He would make sure that he would be prepared for the final confrontation. He would sharpen his sword. He would enhance the helmet and the waistcloth that had served him so well in battle and gave him both agility and poise. And he would continue using souls to increase his vitality and his skill to levels that even he could not remember ever achieving. He felt strong and confident and almost ready to take on his nemesis, Lordran. But first there were errands to run. The wizard had asked Conan to go back into the lost land of Elysial and to recover a trinket for him. This was a dangerous mission, but Conan felt like he owed it to his friend. And warped into Elysial Township. What useless trinket do you need now, wizard? Conan was sure that what he had been asked to find would be completely useless to him. But he owed it to the wizard, and he would risk his life just like the wizard had risked his life for his good friend. According to the wizard, two bloated head sorcerers guarded a chest with a very powerful item, a dark magic incantation. He had tasked Conan with obtaining it. Along the way, Conan found additional loot. This would not be a useless trip after all. He found the first sorcerer, bloated head sorcerer. And had to fight through many ambushes with the bloated hollows that guarded the way. Finally, he reached the chamber. The two magicians were waiting in a difficult ambush, using spells in the crossfire pattern to protect the chest that held the dark orb. So this is what the wizard wanted. A magical bubble. Conan was sure that it was powerful magic, especially in the hands of the wizard, but it would be completely useless to him. Conan cared not for magic. He preferred the sure knowledge and the feel of cold and strong steel in his hands. Having obtained the dark magic for the wizard, Conan decided to go back to the bonfire and start his preparations. He would work on the helm and the waistcloth as his father had taught him, and make him as strong as he could to help with the coming fight. He also realized that he needed a few more souls to continue with his training. He went on a bit of a looting run. The bloated head hollows were cut down easily. Conan used the majority of the souls for his training, and then worked on his equipment, repairing and strengthening the royal helm and his waistcloth. He felt like he was almost ready. He decided to travel back to Firelink Shrine and see if there were any loose ends that he needed to tie up. Upon his return to Firelink Shrine, he found that Lout Patches the hyena.
Oh, we meet again.
Patches had decided to come up to the surface
I'm done with the looting. I'm a humble merchant now.
and claimed to be a
Wondrous
merchant.
treasures have I, at a special price for you. There you are. Have a nice look at them. Oh, relax. No more funny business out of me, my friend.
A quick look at the items for sale confirmed Conan's worst fears. Patches had indeed killed clerics, looted their bodies, and then would come up to the surface and sell them to other travelers.
Nothing appeals to you? Well, you must have poor taste.
There was nothing Conan needed, and Patches made the mistake of disrespecting Conan.
Curses! What's wrong? Curses! How in the...
It felt
What
good
did I do?
to cleave that hyena in half.
Did I do?
Nobody had deserved it more. Conan was curious about Rhea's fate, and he decided to look for her. She had a fervent devotion to her god, so Conan decided to look for her in the church to see if she was praying. And asking her God for direction. That is indeed where he found Rhea.
Hello. I will never forget what you did. I am deeply indebted. For it was not within my power to save Vince or Nico. I cannot thank you enough. In case you have not heard, I am Rhea of Thoroland.
She formally introduced herself
Some way I could help you.
and thanked Conan
I'm an experienced
for saving her
you know the art of miracles.
from the hollowing of
If
Vince and
you
Nico.
need any help, speak to me again.
She offered to teach him miracles in
When I
return.
helped you, I would be most pleased if that were so. May we discuss miracles then? Vince and Nico were fooled by a lout named Patches and turned into hollow.
More conversation with Rhea confirmed
It is
Conan's theories.
my frailty that has sealed their
Patches had tricked Vince and Nico,
Petrus realized my weakness all along, and thus made the decision to abandon
and Petrus, who had come down with them,
me. Blame him now.
had left the girl all by herself.
My prayer, it is mine, perhaps, and I
Petrus had abandoned this naive but brave girl. It was possible that Petrus could have even been in league with Patches. It was time to talk to Petrus. Conan thought that there could be no worse character than Patches, but his conversations with Rhea had shown him that Petrus was indeed worse.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Petrus feigned no knowledge of Rhea and wanted to talk about miracles only. It was time to take avenge to avenge Rhea for Petrus's double dealing.
This can't be. It can't.
The fat cleric went down meekly after one large attack from Conan's sword.